Back here, first things first, now joined by former NFL head coach Eric Mangini.
What's up, Coach? Good to see you.
Can I give a nice shout out to your son who's in studio? Hey, Zach, how you doing? Nice to see you back there. All right, only I can see him. Coach, let's talk about... What's that?
He didn't.
Yeah. Biggest game of the weekend, Cowboys visiting the Eagles. Dak versus Wentz. First quarter, Wentz came out motivated. Finds tight end Dallas Goedert for the 6-yard TD. Puts the Eagles up 10-0. Jump to the end of the third now. This time, Miles Sanders gets in on it. Touchdown, Philly. Puts them up 17-6. Sanders, 156 total yards. Cowboys would have one more chance. 4th and 8. Dak to Michael Gallup. That's a miss. Eagles defense coming up big as they did all day long. Philly wins. They can clinch a playoff berth next week with a win over the Giants. All right, Nick, did the Eagles win this game or did the Cowboys lose it?
As much as I would love to give full credit to the Philadelphia Eagles, because last week I said I thought they could win. I thought a better coach, a better quarterback at home, all those reasons. And the quarterback was excellent. Carson Wentz was, I thought, fantastic. As good as you can be in a game where your team only scores 17 points. I thought Carson was yesterday. To me, this is more about the Cowboys once again reminding us you have no reason to believe that this team is going to be able to repeat a quality performance week over week unless they are playing the dregs of the NFL. Biggest game of the year, no touchdowns. Biggest game of the year, 6 of your 9 points come on short field goals because the Eagles had missed a field goal themselves. One of your biggest plays early in the game is a speed option to your 5th best offensive player in a 3rd and 1 when you have the ball after halftime with a chance after you got that field goal right before halftime to maybe steal some momentum back. That ends in a fumble. And on your biggest play of the season, 4th and 8, 4th in the season on the line, your most skilled pass catcher, Amari Cooper, is on the sideline. Your 2nd most skilled pass catcher, Randall Cobb, is on the sideline. And you have a collection of Michael Gallup, who's been good, Blake Jarwin, Jason Witten, who wasn't in football last year, and Tavon Austin, who teams have been trying to find a way to use Tavon Austin since he was at West Virginia. And so, to me, this was the Cowboys again failing to show up in the biggest spot of the year. That's my biggest takeaway from the game, Coach.
Yeah, there's definitely a combination of things, and you look at the Eagles, and you hate to see this in a game that's this big, but they came out so much more aggressively than the Cowboys. They came out with a higher level of intensity, more
urgency,
all of that, and it's shocking to see that with a game with so much on the line, and then you combine that with the fact that they had the volume of injuries that they had, and I thought it was great. I thought it was great that guys like Dallas Goedert stepped up, or J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, players that they were hoping for more from earlier in the season, and really were able to produce in this big game. And then the Dallas side of it, your point on the last play to not have your best players in, that is inexcusable. And look, I've been in those situations as a head coach where you have rotations of players, and you'll bring guys in because that's when they're supposed to be spelled, and it's to keep them at a high level throughout the course of the game. But all that goes out the window on key plays, big 3rd downs, red zone plays, 2-minute drives. Forget about the rotation. You put your best guys in, and that sometimes can get lost as a head coach. But it shouldn't, and it definitely shouldn't in a game like this.
On that note, just to follow up real quick, Coach, is it you that has said, I don't know if you came up with it or someone else, think players, not plays?
Ted Marchibroda used to say this all the time, is in those key moments, you always think players, not plays. And look, your best players on the sidelines, you just can't have it. And it's those types of mistakes, decisions, wherever you want to classify those things that have killed the Cowboys.
Because even if it was a Kellen Moore decision, Jason Garrett should have jumped in.
You have to overrule it. You have to. Yeah. It's like your best pass rusher out on a key 3rd down defensively. Yeah, granted he may be tired, but
on that
him
play,
tired is better than the next guy fully fresh and ready to go.
The Cowboys beat themselves, and as you said, all respect to the Eagles. To come out there with all the injuries they had and do what they did, they get tons of respect for that. They played a great game. But the Cowboys lost this game. They beat themselves. the game plan from the start was flawed. It's as simple as that. If you look at their history against the Eagles since they've had Zeke and Dak, they've run the football. Ezekiel Elliott has averaged 115 yards a game in his career against the Eagles. And, oh, by the way, they're 5-0 in those games. The last 4 times he's played the Eagles, he's had over 100 yards. And you give him the ball 13 times to carry it, and Dak Prescott's battling a shoulder injury, and you throw it 44 times, 43 times, whatever it was with him. I mean, the game plan to me was flawed from the get-go. 3rd and 1. You brought up the Tony Pollard play, the option. They have 4 3rd and 1s. Twice they gave the ball to Zeke, and he gets the first down both times. The other time they give it to Pollard, fumble, cost them at least 3 points, okay? Then the next time they throw a sprint pass to Amari Cooper, and it's incomplete. So my point is, they should have come into this game thinking we are going to run the football down the Eagles' throats. It also would keep Wentz off the field. Wentz has been playing great the last few weeks. It would keep him off the field. And I know they were down, Coach, 10-0, but that was early. That was the first quarter.
No, look, I understand what you're saying, but the one thing the Eagles did really well defensively going into this game was stopping the run. They were 3rd against the run going into the game, and you could see very early on there was a commitment to force Dak Prescott to win the game for the Cowboys. Now, I do agree with you that the number of carries that Zeke got is too low. I don't think you can kill them for the rationale of our receivers are better than their DBs at this point. Our protection is better than their pass rush at this point. I don't think that's a flawed assumption, but I do think numerically the distribution of run to pass was
but they were
one way.
2 years ago, Philly had the best rush defense in the league. Cowboys ran it down their throat. Last year, they had the 6th best rush defense in the league. Cowboys ran it down their throat. So I think you got to go with what we do best. If that's what you defend best,
they won
let's do it.
with that exact game plan. They won, and they beat a pretty good team, and one thought maybe they would sort of break out that same game plan this week.
Yeah, I agree. The numbers are too low, but you don't also want to hit your head against the wall over and over again. There's some days where that's just not what's working for you. Should they have given it more run? Yeah, I think they should have given it more of a chance. But that is the area of strength that the Eagles did come into the game with. It seemed like Zeke got
going later more. Because you're right, early in the game, they were defending him well against the run. It seemed like later in the game,
it makes it hard on those drives when you're, it's 2nd and 10, 2nd and 11. It puts you behind the sticks so often.
And we can disagree on the level to which this is the case. But they called 47 pass plays and 15 running plays. Because Dak threw the ball 44 times, got sacked twice, ran the ball once. There's 47. Zeke had 13 carries. Pollard had 2. There's your 15. Can't have a 3-to-1 pass-to-run discrepancy in a game where you are down 10-0 early, but it's super early. In the entire second half, they ran 11 plays down 2 scores. So there was never really a time where you had to abandon the run. And I do think back to the Cowboys era that America's team was built on. Man, folks knew they were running, and guess what? You had Larry Allen, you had Emmitt Smith, you had Nate Newton, and it's like, you know what? Stop us. And you might say, okay, well, they don't have Larry Allen. He's maybe the greatest guard ever. Okay, you have 3 of the highest paid offensive linemen in football. You have the highest paid running back in football. It's your biggest game of the year. So I understand that.
Look, it'd be nice if whoever you paid the most was your best performer. Like if that was the only equation, the Browns at different points would be good. But that's not the only equation. You have to actually pay the guys that go out and perform on a consistent level, which they haven't been getting this year from their offensive line.
But you would figure you put your trust in Zeke over an injured Dak.
Yeah, but the flip side to that is, let's just say, leave the run, because I think we all agree to a different level. They should have run the ball more. The other thing is, why were you not more effective on those 47 dropbacks? Why against a defense that allowed 27 to Washington twice, allowed 27 to Detroit, allowed 37 to Miami, that you put 37 up against, that allowed 38 to Minnesota? Could you not get in the end zone. Why? Even the year the Eagles won the Super Bowl, their secondary was susceptible. Like, this has been an ongoing issue for Philadelphia. Dak supposedly turned down $35+ million a year. Nope. I'm more of a $40 million a year type of player. Didn't look like it yesterday. Amari Cooper, a guy who's looking for a contract this offseason, when he was on the field was not that effective, and to your point, was not on the field on the single biggest play of their season. It is, we can point blame at everyone because everyone deserves blame. This is an institutional failure by the team to come out this flat early and to never rally in what was essentially a playoff game.
And I do think you need to give some credit to Philadelphia.
Absolutely.
As much as we want to kill Dallas, you got to give those coaches a lot of credit. You got to give a guy like Jim Schwartz, a veteran defensive coordinator, a lot of credit for changing up the game plan. And there's another disadvantage Dallas had. You have a young first-year coordinator versus a guy with a ton of experience in a critical game, and you could see that in those key moments, Jim Schwartz came out on top.
All right, well, as poorly as the Cowboys played, all hope is not lost. They still need to win next week, and if Philadelphia loses, they can still get in the playoffs. Yep.
I think so.
So
the
you're
Giants.
saying there's a chance.
There's a chance. Coming up, is there any way Jason Garrett can save his job? That is next on First Things
There's
First.
one thing we do really well on this show when coaches here. It's give veteran coordinators credit.
Save on